Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie. Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi. Mia Farrow as Allison Mackenzie. Ryan O'Neill as Rodney Harrington. Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson. Tim O'Connor as Elliot Carson. Christopher Conley as Norman Harrington.
Rodney Harrington has been held in Peyton Place jail without bail to await preliminary hearing on a charge of murder. During the 2 nights and 1 day that have passed since his arrest, he has listened to the sounds of everyday life coming from the outside. Inside, there have been only the sounds in his mind, the sounds of anger and self-recrimination, of fear and frustration. At the same time, his father, Leslie Harrington, has sought to take the temperature of the town.
Well, hello, Les. I heard you were in town.
I must have taken you away from a patient. You looked about ready to bite my head off.
No, I was just going over these figures, and the second blast on that buzzer undid me.
But at your side, Doctor, I just followed instructions.
Well, what can I do for you?
Well, I was looking for Julie, Mrs. Anderson. Is she off to lunch?
Well, you have been away a while. Well, I lost Julie to a better-paying job quite a while ago.
Oh. Well, I just stopped by to say hello. Any idea where I can find Mrs. Anderson?
Well, yeah, she's the secretary for David Schuster over at the mill.
Oh. Well, it's kind of winner take all, isn't it? Thank you, Doctor. Les. How's Rodney? He's fine.
I mean, I know it must have been difficult for you to come back to this. I know that the fact that you're here must mean a great deal to him.
He needs a good lawyer more than he needs a father right now.
Well, he has both now, doesn't he?
I hope so.
Well, isn't Mr. Dahl taking care of the case? I mean, I took that for granted.
I'm beginning to learn it's a mistake to take anything for granted. Do you realize how many changes have been in the few short months that I've been away? Another man runs my business with my secretary. Another family lives in my house. Old acquaintances pass me on the street without a sign of recognition. It's the most incredible feeling. As though I'd come back after my own funeral and had the opportunity of seeing how quickly the world, my world, could replace and forget me. I grew up in this town. I felt a part of it. It's hard to admit that I didn't leave a part of me behind when I went away. All they seem to remember of me are the unpleasant things. On their faces, I see suspicion, hostility. Oh, they remember the bad moments. Otherwise, I didn't leave a ripple behind.
So speaks a man with 2 grown sons.
Thanks for your ear.
Go away. Just get your 2 big fat feet off my porch, whoever you are. You're wearing out your fingerprints for nothing.
Hello? When I first came back to Peyton Place, you invited me up for a talk, remember?
Yeah, I said a lot of stupid things that day.
Not stupid.
Just immature and emotional. Yeah, my big brother told me. You got any more bait for me today?
Let's start over, Norman. We got off on the wrong foot. We have to trust each other now.
I'm busy, Mr. Court.
Unless your brother's lawyer, may I come in?
What do you want?
Some answers.
Why?
Mr. Dowell and I think Fowler knows more than he's saying. We want to find out what. We think he's probably been working on motive.
Motive? Rod didn't set out to harm Chernick.
Well, I expect the prosecution will attempt to prove he set out to kill him. Now, that's what first-degree murder is, Norman, premeditation.
It's stupid.
Rhea Jacks went with Chernick for a while. Now she's going with you.
Do we have to go into this?
I'm afraid so.
It doesn't have anything to do with anything.
Are you implying that there was an antagonism between Rodney and Joe before you started going with Rita?
I get it.
All right.
Look, Chernick wouldn't leave Rita alone.
Why not?
Because she dropped him. Then she started going with me. That's grounds for slaughter in his book. For slaughtering me, not Rodney.
Well, a Harrington is a Harrington to most people around here.
Correction. To you, not to Chernick.
How do you know?
I know him. Chernick wouldn't go after Rodney to get to me. He wasn't that smart. For instance, he was a type who would fight head first. That's not intelligent. It shakes up the brains too much.
Well, when did you fight him?
Well, the day before this happened. It was like fighting a bulldozer.
You were beaten up?
No. Well, not exactly. Well, yeah.
And you told Rodney?
Are you kidding?
You know, Fowler could construe that as Rodney's motive for going after Joe, couldn't he?
No. In fact, motive-wise, the wrong person got killed. I should have killed Rodney. He was always poking his nose into my business, trying to patch things up for me. He knew I hated that.
Oh, fine. Well, thanks.
What next? Anything else I can do?
Yes, when Fowler comes around, revert. Growl at him immaturely.
Anything you say, counselor.
Oh, what a wonderful surprise. I can't seem to sit still today.
Well, you certainly look lovely for someone so restless.
I had lunch with Steve and I wanted to find out what happened at the arraignment.
What did happen, Betty?
Rodney was arraigned. Stephen says it's just a formality. Mr. Harrington's back.
I knew he'd come back when he heard, but...
When Stephen told me, I was glad in a way.
Well, hello, Betty.
Hello, Mr. Schuster.
This should go off in the afternoon mail.
Of course.
Were you at the arraignment this morning?
No, I wasn't.
Leslie Harrington came back this morning.
Well, good. I know Rod will feel much better for having him here. I'm looking forward to meeting him.
Mr. Schuster's office. Just a moment, please. It's Mr. Fowler.
All right, I'll take it in here.
I wonder if Mr. Harrington will help Rodney or hurt him. Well, he makes waves. He can't help it.
Well, he may have changed, Betty.
Do you really believe that?
I believe Rodney needs his father here now.
Does he? He tried to help him before without much success.
Betty, it takes a lot of courage to come back.
All right, so coming back here is rotten, facing all those people. It's challenging for anyone just having to walk across that square. Mother, I still think it would have been better for him to stay away.
Julie, something has come up. I have to go home.
Will you be back?
Well, I don't know.
Well, Mr. Schuster, is there something I can...
No, it's a personal matter. I'll check in later.
Allison didn't eat a thing for lunch today.
She's wondering how she's going to live through all this. Help Rodney without getting in the way.
You know, when Leslie Harrington walked into that courtroom today, I felt 20 years flash back. And all the hate came back.
Do you mean that?
Well, half my life was wasted because of him.
That's past. Things are different for you now, Elliot.
And the charge, murder in the first degree. Same charge. And the boy's just as confused as I was. When Leslie Harrington walked into that courtroom, I saw him as I did 20 years ago, sitting in the back, watching silently, as if he were merely a disinterested onlooker. It was real hatred, Connie.
You can't let yourself feel that way.
Well, that's the way it was.
As a newspaper man, you can't afford to have feelings. You have to be impartial.
Supposing I can't. I don't know. I had to make an effort to keep silent during the arraignment. See, I'm so close to it, I can't even think about it objectively. And Rodney, I know exactly the way he feels. Sitting there, wondering stupidly why. Why me? Wars, depressions, disasters, death. Those are things that happen to other people. Nothing wrong is supposed to happen to me. And yet you sit there, in jail, and it's real. It's not just a dream or a nightmare. You're in jail. You can't get out.
People are going to be reading the Clarion with a magnifying glass, Elliot.
Yes, I know it. I want to prove that Matt Swain is right, that I am capable of responsible, uncolored, unemotional journalism.
You are.
And thanks for the vote of confidence. You just won a job as the editor's editor.
I accept. But only if you're very, very careful.
I wonder if I have it in me to be very, very careful. You should have seen me this morning. I was almost drunk with the power I have. Leslie Harrington's boy is up for murder in a messy, circumstantial case very much like mine. And with the paper, I could help sway the people of this town, the jury, anybody. It's an opportunity I used to dream about.
You'd never do a thing like that.
Why do you suppose it occurred to me?
Rodney isn't Leslie. Would you take these books over to him? Rodney needs you as a friend, not as his father's enemy.
I see. As the editor's editor, you feel you have the right to use the whip, the rack, thumbscrew, anything at all to keep the editor in line.